Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with a guide for World of Warcraft of all games. It's been a long time since I made a WoW guide. I think the last one I made was for the Waste of Time years ago. But for this particular guide, I'm going to show you how, as a Retribution Paladin, you can take down Zekvir on double question mark difficulty. You want to do this alone in order to get this skin, the Void skin, for the Delver's dirigible mount. And you have to do this, at least as far as we know, you have to do this within, let's see, Delves. You have to do this within the season. So the Feat of Strength has let me solo him to feed Zekvir in his lair on tier double question mark without any other players in your party before the release of the next season of Delves. So, unclear if this will be like carried over or something, or maybe there's a different dirigible skin next time, but we don't really know that. All right, so check the description for the timestamps and also, the progress bar. I want to talk about a bunch of things before we actually fight him. I'm going to do the fight live. Hopefully it works. If I fail, I'll edit in the actual kill fight, but I'm going to talk while doing it to really walk you through this. Okay, cool. So the first thing I want to talk about is the build that I have. So I am a holy main, and you will see this in my gear. This is all healing gear with the exception of my weapon, which is an Algari competitor's greatsword, two-handed sword. Does not have any enchants on it or anything. I just use my sparks on this sword. It's an eye level 606, nothing crazy. I really just use it for questing, more or less. But I did all of this in healing gear. So if you were an actual dedicated Retribution Paladin, you're probably going to have an easier time than I did. But I just want to show that this is completely doable in healing gear. I am a Heroic Raider. We're currently 7 of 8 on Heroic. I don't think we're going into Mythic, but that's just kind of my thing, like where I'm at right now. Item level 610.75. I have all 5 tier pieces. Currently have the 4-set bonus, which is Wake of Ashes, increases your damage done by 8% for 8 seconds. So you just want to constantly, as always, use Wake of Ashes on cooldown, but you get a really good buff out of that. And then the 2-piece gives you 15% increase on Blade of Justice damage, as well as Wake of Ashes damage increased by 10%. For my neck, I have a 603 Enkindled Locket. I think this is from Delves or something. I don't even think this is really that great of a neck. It's not even my own Biss neck, so there's that. Again, tier shoulders. Cape, this is from the Black Temple time walking event a few weeks ago. It's just a cape with crit and haste on it, so nothing too crazy. Item level 603. 619 chest for tier. Tabard of the Silver Hand, or Tabard of the Lightbringer, sorry. And then I have a 613 Ravaged Lamplighter's Manacles. These are my Biss wrists. These drop from the raid. Tier hands, belt. This drops from the raid as well. This is my Biss belt, sorry. Item level 619 on that. 616 tier greaves. 619 boots. Also dropped from the raid. My rings are not great. This is a 610 Stitch Flesh's Misplaced Signet. I think this is from Necrotic Wake. And then 610 Dark Abyss Hoop. This might be from the raid. I may have just rolled on this because it was a better thing. But you can see here, I have gems on whatever I need gems on, double gems on rings, gem on belt from if you spend your 6 vault tokens, if you don't get a good vault one week, spend those 6 tokens with the vendor right next to the vault, and then you can gem certain gear pieces. 2 gems on my neck piece as well. And then for my trinkets, I have the Arakara Sack Brood. This is the heroic version, not even the Mythic or the Mythic Plus version. I mostly use it for healing, but it's kind of a universal trinket for everybody. And then I have the Gruesome Syringe, which is absolutely a healing trinket, so you're not going to see anything other than the 1295 crit at work here. So that's my build. 19% crit, 28% haste, 24% mastery. Again, I'm not really a Ret player. I'm a holy main, but I did this as Ret. Okay, next are my talents. So, Herald of the Sun build. Using Gleaming Rays, which is when Dawnlight is active, your Holy Power spenders deal 5 additional damage. So you just constantly want to be having Dawnlight active, which is every time you cast Wake of Ashes, Dawnlight shows up. So you get all this bonus damage off of Wake of Ashes, basically. So it's just excellent. This is a single target fight, so you're not getting all the crazy AoE bonus damage that you would get as Ret from Dawnlight, but it's still very effective against Zekvir. So we have Gleaming Rays, and then we have Will of the Dawn, which is your movement speeds increased by 5% while above 80% health. When your target is brought below 35% health, your movement speed is increased by 40% for 5 seconds. and it can occur more than once every minute, but the benefit here is getting out of Zekvir's AoE abilities when he's below 50%, let alone 35%. In his second phase, he's going to be doing a lot of stuff, and you want to be able to move as quickly as possible. So that's a really, really good talent for you. Blessing of Anshi, your damage and healing over time effects have a chance to increase the damage of your next Hammer of Wrath by 200%, make it usable on any target, and with, basically cycling Avenging Wrath procs, your Hammer of Wrath is almost always going to be up, which is really, really helpful. And then just the rest of the build as normal. For the Paladin tree, we have Avenging Wrath, but then, that turns into... we have a different talent over here, which is Crusade. So Avenging Wrath changes a little bit with that. The major thing that I want to point out here is Cavalier. You want to have 2 charges of your Divine Steed, and that's because, like I said, Zekvir, and I'm sure you're looking up a guide, you've probably fought him a bunch of times and are having difficulty. Cavalier allows you to run on your horse more than once. So having that up and just kind of paying attention to the cycle of that is really, 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 really helpful. The rest of these talents, we don't use Blessing and Sacrifice in this fight, so yeah, that's sort of the Paladin tree. Crusade's really the big one for yourself to have there. And then the rest over here, you want to have 2 charges on Blade of Justice. That's very helpful. And then Crusade, Call Upon Light and begin a Crusade, increasing your haste by 3%. If Avenging Wrath is known, it also grants 3% damage per stack, which is really, really helpful. We use Crusading Strikes, which replaces Crusader Strike and basically makes it so Crusader Strike is your auto attack. And it has a proc chance of generating a holy power every 2 stacks. Sorry, it's not a proc. It actually happens, but you're going to be feeling the delay of your auto attack swing there, so you don't necessarily rely on this too much unless you're like a crazy Ret player who actually pays attention to the auto attack swing timer. Again, holy main here. I don't ever pay attention to that stuff, but if you do, great. And then Execution Sentence is really, really helpful. It's especially helpful on the eggs, and then reducing the cooldown is really important as well. So the cooldown on mine is currently 30 seconds. So using this talent tree, you'll have a 30-second cooldown on Execution Sentence. And yeah, it's really, really effective on the egg. You want to try to save it for the egg. It's okay to use it on Zekvir as soon as the fight starts, but for the most part, you want to save it for the eggs. The eggs are the most important thing in this fight. More on that in a bit. Yeah. Okay, so that's the tree. Now let's actually get into the fight, but those are the important talents to pay attention to. Okay, so in order to access this fight, you first need to defeat Zekvir on single question mark difficulty. In order to unlock double question mark, you have to do that, but you also have to clear a tier 10 delve. As Ret, for me, the easiest one was actually this one right here, the Spiral Weave. The final boss of this one, you literally just run from the entire time as any class, and it just takes a while, but it's not that bad. You can also do a 10 or 11 with one other person, I find is fine. I did a tier 11 as a healer with a druid tank. I think we got it done in like 20 minutes or so, so if you want to go for tier 11, by all means go for that. But Spiral Weave is a really, really good one to do for accessing Zekvir double question mark. Okay, so unfortunately they changed this. This no longer counts for your vault for the delve, so now it really is just about the achievement. Okay, so next setup is Brann. The Brann setup is almost as important as yours. So my Brann is currently level 37. I think I did this with him at 35 or 36, so he doesn't have to be super, super high level. You absolutely want him in the combat, in the healer role for his combat role. You want him as a healer, and the reason for this is because he drops potions on the ground. You want to pay very, very close attention to where those potions are because you want to pick them up as soon as you start dipping in health. Zekvir's auto attacks on double question mark are devastating. So you got to pay very close attention to the potions. If you find yourself dying or something and there's no potions around, pop a defensive and then try to use Word of Glory on yourself and just heal yourself back up. That's very, 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 very helpful. Okay, for the combat curio, you have a couple choices here. So I actually did this on my own with, the first time with Porcelain Arrowhead Idol. However, the one I really recommend is Idol of the Earth Mother. The double question mark fight is really just sort of like a battle of attrition. It's just survival. The real enemy of this fight are the eggs. You want to kill the eggs as quickly as possible. Zekvir will just die eventually. Really, like, that's kind of how the fight goes. For the most part, you're just managing him and zerging the egg. He'll go down eventually. He's not dealing increased damage at any given time, except during the second phase. You know, it's not scaling or anything. It's just he hits phase 2, does more damage because he has more abilities, but everything basically remains the same. So Idol of the Earth Mother, the shield for this, is very helpful because it helps you stay alive longer. So I do recommend Idol of the Earth Mother. I didn't have it at the time, but I'm going to use it now. And then for the utility curio, I like Amorphous Relic. This increases your size, max health, and damage and healing done. Or it can reduce your size by 20%, which increases your movement speed and your haste by 12%. So there's actually no detriment. There's no downside to this at all. It's just really, really, really helpful. I haven't seen anybody suggest to use a different relic than this, but a lot of people say either Porcelain Arrowhead, which I can absolutely attest to, or Idol of the Earth Mother. If you don't have these curios, unfortunately, once you reach, I think once Brann reaches 29 or so, you have to do Bountiful Devs in order to continue leveling him up. So if your Brann is low and you don't have these curios, you've got to start running Bountiful Delves. They can take a little while. Luckily, tier 8, 9, 10, 11 doesn't matter. They all drop the same rewards. So you can do them on 8, even if you're in like Mythic rating gear. It doesn't matter. You're not really there for the gear. You're there to level Brann up and get these curios. And that's the explanation. So for the, that's the preamble. For the actual combat encounter as a Ret Paladin, you want to have a couple of things ready to go. You want to have Cleanse Toxins. This is really important. But most importantly, you want to macro, I'm used to healing. You want to have Blessing of Freedom on your bar. Blessing of Freedom can actually be used preemptively to negate poisons. So Zekvir has an ability that will poison you and slow you down dramatically. However, if you hit Blessing of Freedom before it even comes out, it won't do anything to you. So once you see that poison coming out, just hit Blessing of Freedom and keep doing what you're doing. You can just ignore the mechanic, basically. Blessing of Freedom is really important. The other thing, and this is imperative, is you need a kick macro or a rebuke macro. So my rebuke macro is right here. I just slash tar Zek, which will, Zekvir is the only Zek in the room. So it just targets Zekvir and it casts Rebuke. Zekvir can heal himself on like a 4 or 5 second cast. You have to interrupt this every single time. Do not use your Rebuke except for this ability. Do not interrupt anything else. The only other time you want to interrupt is by using Hammer of Justice if a cocoon hatches the spider. You need to stun that spider once it starts casting its web ability, because that will cocoon you and you're dead. So I have had successful attempts of this fight. I wasn't able to actually kill him, but I got a lot further because I was able to not panic and hit the spider with Hammer of Justice and zerg it down before it did anything else. Unfortunately, I lost those attempts later on, like 5 minutes later or something, but it is still a really effective tool for those spiders, but you want to save it as an absolute oh shit kind of button. A couple other things, make sure you have Divine Steed ready to go on a button. I have it on my mouse. And then Shield of Vengeance is really good, especially during Phase 2. You're basically going to be using it on rotation in Phase 2, just keep the damage away. And then Divine Protection as well. You try to flash a light, Word of Glory yourself. Brann will die, but he comes back to life after 30 seconds. If he does die, it's going to get really tough, and that's when you want to save your Lay on Hands, your Divine Shield. Try to save that stuff for as long as humanly possible. I actually recommend saving Divine Shield for an absolute, oh my god, I'm going to die sort of event. The reason for this is because during Phase 2, Zekvir can summon portals, and if you touch one of them, you will get bounced between them, and then slowed, and chances are his conal ability is coming up, and so you're gonna die unless you hit Divine Shield, and then you can survive it. But then Divine Shield's on cooldown for 3.5 minutes, which isn't great, but it'll at least allow you to keep the fight going. So I really think that's it. So we're going to go in. We're going to fight him. That's a 15-minute explanation of this fight, but it's basically a single-person mythic raid boss, basically. So we're going to go in. We're going to fight him. And hopefully we do this on the first try. We shall see. Enfeebling Spittle, that's when you cast Blessing of Freedom preemptively to get it over with. And then we have a egg in the corner. Okay. Unfortunately, like, sometimes it just happens. You know what I mean? Like, that's why the corner, this whole section sucks. I wish it wasn't there. It just is what it is. Okay. Attempt number 10. Our opener is his Judgment, Blade of Justice, and we're just going. We are saving our cooldowns for the egg. We do not want to use any long cooldowns such as Wake of Ashes or Execution Sense until that egg comes out because it helps us kill it faster. If you are dealing more DPS than I am, then feel free to use them, but I don't like to. All right, so we cast Blessing of Freedom to get out of that Enfeebling Spittle. We just cast it preemptively. Web Terror, switch targets. Okay. It's going to spawn right in front of us. Tab target over. Execution Sentence. Horrendous Roar. Unfortunately, this is the worst place for an egg. It is the worst place. The reason being, because you are trapped with a staircase that is not normal. There's actually only stairs on the front. The rest of them are just like basically like a sheer cliff that you have to attempt to run up. All right, we kick or rebuke. Rejuvenating Carapace. We're going to horse out of that because I didn't like where we were. Picking up potions. I'm not just, running around like an idiot. Excuse me. I'm getting over a cold. All right, we're going to switch targets. Again, it's on the stage back here. Hopefully we should be able to avoid the next Claw Smash, but there's going to be a fear. Enfeebling Spittle. Yep. Just called it. Okay. Luckily, we can still deal damage from this angle. Rejuvenating Carapace. We tab target back over. Get away from the stage as soon as you are able. You want to get off that stage as soon as you are able. You never want to be on there unless you absolutely have to be dealing with an egg. It's the only time you ever want to be up there. Other than that, it's a death trap. Okay, so preemptive Blessing of Freedoms. The tricky thing with Blessing of Freedom is that it is a GCD ability, and so you want to be very careful when you are casting it and make sure that it actually goes off, because if it doesn't, you're gonna die. Like, that poison is just gonna tick down really fast and you're just gonna die. Oh my god, Brann. So you want to make sure that Blessing of Freedom actually goes off and you are actually... Yo, what is going on? I'm going to pop a shield here just to be a little defensive. What is happening? I feel like an episode of It's Always Sunny. What is happening? Yeah, you want to make sure that the Blessing of Freedom actually goes off and you don't accidentally just like cycle your GCD not paying attention. Okay, so we're switching targets, luckily. Rejuvenating Carapace. We're going to flip the camera, tab target. I am left-handed, so I have to let go of the mouse in order to tab target. It's always a terrifying endeavor. Okay, Enfeebling Spittle. Again, I was mashing Blessing of Freedom there to make sure that it went off. I horsed away because I was not confident I was going to be able to walk out of that fear. Okay. Yo, Brann, where did you go, my lovely? He's outside the door. What is Brann doing? Oh, he's back. How nice. This AI is so dumb. It's so dumb sometimes. All right, I'm trying to pay very close attention to this camera angle here because I do not want to accidentally get sucked into conal abilities such as that. So I ran behind Zekvir there, and then we are getting out of this fear, thank God. In Phase 2, that fear explodes into orbs that will one-shot you, so you have to pay very close attention and make sure that you have a good camera angle at all times during Phase 2. It's a lot easier said than done. When I do it, it's not going to be super clean, but just keep that in mind. All right, Enfeebling Spittle, he's going to transition here in a couple seconds. He transitions at 60%, just about. Call Web Terror, switch targets. Okay. Oh, God. So maybe he'll transition after I kill this thing? Okay, he's transitioning now, which is actually fine for me because you can't deal damage to him while he's transitioning. So this is actually fine for me. That's cool. All right, Black Blood. Whew. Knockback. We go. Okay, so now we have all these Phase 2 insane abilities to deal with. Still have Claw Smash, still have everything we're doing, but now we have Unending Spines, which is just swirlies on the ground. But again, terrible camera angles make this really unfortunate. Blood-infused Carapace, Interrupt, Enfueling Spittle, Blessing of Freedom. Again, you got to pay close attention to your GCD. Do not touch these portals. Look for the Web Terror. All right, Infinite Horror. We're going to get some orbs coming out of this. All right. Unending Spines during Egg. This is basically just going to keep happening, so you just got to learn to deal with it. All right, luckily that moved, which is helpful. Perfect. Okay, and we're cooking. So yeah, just pay attention to those orbs after the fear. It's really deadly. I've had a lot of attempts fail to that. Enfeebling Spittle, Blessing of Freedom, Blood-Infused Carapace, Interrupt. Unending Spines, we just avoid the swirlies. Doing our best to deal some damage to him. Brann will always die during this phase. He's just an idiot and does not pay attention to what's happening. Ooh, I really should have horsed there. I'm going to heal Brann. Where did that go? Okay, it's in the back, which is fine. We're just going to have a god-awful camera angle happening now. Enfeebling Spittle. Oh, shit. Okay, that was terrifying. I hate dealing with these things against the walls. They are a nightmare. Infinite Horror, look out for those little portals. It's not the same portals that are sitting there that, like, bounce you around. It's little, like, gates that show up around the fear circle. That's what you got to watch out for. My throat is really, really drying. I just got over a cold, or I'm still getting over it, so it's going to be tough. All right. Call Web Terror. All right, it's right between these. Interrupt Blood-Infused Carapace. Deal with that. Do our best to just stay near this thing so we can kill it really fast. Okay, he's playing along okay for now. All right. Cool. All right. I'm going to heal Brann again just because I have extra holy power. I'm not really doing anything with it. Enfeebling Spittle. You know what to do. Unending Spines. Oh, shit, I can't see. That was really bad. I'm healing Brann again. I really don't ever do this, but it's just being nice with the timing. Okay, it's going to spawn right there. Great. I'm paying close attention to those orbs. Enfeebling Spittle. Make sure the Blessing of Freedom goes off. Unending Spines. Try to stay close to the cocoon as best you can. You want to make sure that you still kill it. I'm going to save Brann here because he's just an idiot and he's going to stand there. Okay, I'm paying attention to the gates there. That's where the orbs come from. All right, we're at 33%. Interrupt Blood-Infused Carapace. All right, we're getting out of these spines. Yeah, Brann's dead. It's fine. Pop a defensive. Where is that spawning? It's spawning in the back, which is less than stellar. Okay, paying attention to these orbs. Great. Pay attention to that. Make sure it doesn't hit you. Unfortunately, Brann isn't helping here, so not doing as much damage as I usually do. Okay, Unending Spines, we're going to get out of this. Brann's going to come back up in a few seconds, and we're going to be okay. Going to pop another defensive. Oh, shit. I just got that off. I was looking at my bar for for that shield. Excuse me. All right, 26%. Run away from Infinite Horror. Watch out for those orbs. Unending Spines. Okay, right in front of him. It's fine. I'm just trying to keep the camera in front of him. This is the exact reason I was keeping the camera in front of him, because I wanted to make sure that I could still see where those orbs were going to spawn from. That is absolutely terrifying to deal with. All right, I'm not going to heal Brann again. I don't care. Blood-Infused Carapace. We got him down to 18%. Enfeebling Spittle. Blessing of Freedom. All right. Watch out for the orbs. Claw Smash. We're doing good. All right. Keep talking, John. Keep walking the people through. Okay. Unending Spines. This is good for us. This is like kind of free damage on him. Just pay attention to where the swirlies are popping. Sometimes you could time your movements very nicely. Where is this spawning? Over there. Enfeebling Spittle, Blessing of Freedom that. Claw Smash. Oh, luckily he went to Brann. That could have been absolutely deadly. All right, I'm trying to get behind him for that ability really quick. Unending Spines. This is really bad. I'm horsing out of here because I need to get out of this shitty camera angle. Blood Infused Carapace. Interrupt that. Infinite Horror. Run away. Watch out for the orbs. Fueling Spittle. Blessing of Freedom. Claw Smash, dodge, number 27. Told you, this fight goes on for a while. But again, I'm in healing gear, not wreck gear, so I'm the problem. Switch targets, that's going near the door. Unending Spines, not the worst thing to happen. But we are going to have to pay very close attention to this sphere coming up. Yep. Okay. Claw Smash, luckily going straight through the door. This is nice. Blood Infused Carapace, interrupt, Enfeebling Spittle, Blessing of Freedom. I think this is going to be a kill. Okay. Unending Spines. Just keep doing your thing. Don't panic. Don't panic. Ooh, that was close. I'm going to let Brann die if he dies, to quote Ivan Drago. We have cooldowns. Claw Smash. Good to go. If he spawns... Yeah, I'm still going to deal with this thing. I'm not going to ignore it. I want to be safe here. I don't want to be stupid. Unending Spines. Try to stay near the cocoon. He's dead. That is Zekvir double question mark. It is a very, very difficult fight. Luckily, I was able to do that in 10 attempts or less, I think. Wow, my heart is racing 113 beats per minute. It is one of the hardest things to do in World of Warcraft, in my opinion, as a Ret Paladin in healing gear, more or less. So, yeah, and just because I've edited out the deaths, just to show you, same gear as before, same exact gear, nothing's changed, no funny business. 61075. Eric Harris, Sack Brood, Gruesome Syringe, same exact gear. I'll go through it really quick just so you guys can see for yourselves. I did not change anything during the deaths. Nothing has changed. No food, no flasks, by the way. Bring those if you want to help yourself out. I only have healing flasks, so couldn't really do anything. And 606 Algari's Competitor's Greatsword, and the same talents as before. That is double question mark Zekvir. It is one of the most fun things I've ever done in World of Warcraft. If you know this channel, you know I love very, very challenging things. As a solo player, it's tons of fun. It is easily the most fun thing. You will automatically get the Void schematic put into your bags. I already have it for myself. You'll automatically get the Void schematic. You'll automatically get the Feat of Strength. Again, this does have to be done in this season. Unclear if they'll extend it to another season, but it is what it is. Okay, and then just go to, in Dornegal, go to the Rostrum of Transformation. It is... Hello. Go to the city, please. Thank you. It is right over here somewhere. It's in the Forge Grounds. It's by the Herbalism and Alchemy people. They're the Rostrum of Transformation's over there. But that is it. That is how to get the Void Delver's Dirigible and defeat Zekvir on double question mark difficulty. I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. If you're looking for more guides on really any game, subscribe to the channel. I'm on a bit of a break, bit of a retirement hiatus until the next Dark Souls game comes out or something like that, until I want to do it. But this is the sort of stuff that I've been wanting to do, is just guides for guides' sake. I did a hard thing. I wanted to help people. So, Ret Paladin and healing gear, double question mark Zekvir. There it is. All right. Leave a comment if you have a question. Do my best to help you out. Subscribe to the channel. If you really like what you see, become a channel member. Yeah, thanks so much to my channel members who are still channel members, even though I haven't uploaded a video in forever. Let me make sure to shout you guys out. It's been a long time since I made a video, so I kind of forgot how to do this. So sorry. There's some people are still channel members. It is insane to me. Thank you very much to John Aldridge with 53 months. John Aldridge, 53 months. Silverbolt 13 with 40 months. Joe, we'll see you tomorrow. Daniel Cockerell, 36 months. Happy 3 years, Daniel. Brian Brubaker with 30 months. Baghdad Money with 26 months. Greg with 24 months. Happy 2 years. Let's go Mets in the NLCS. Greg, will see you soon from Japan. X Lightning 84 with 19 months. Jason Knaps with 6 months. And Working Class Nerds, Marcus, thank you so much, with 4 months. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.